Good morning everybody, and welcome to what can only be described as the best possible beginning to a Sunday morning. You are watching Sindile the leopard, and this is Safari Live. Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
He's on the move, everyone, and I don't know if he's stalking or if he spotted something that he wants to go and eat. I'll tell you the story of Sindile shortly. My name is James Henry. Genre is on camera. Yeah, he's definitely stalking Sindile, I mean, not Genre. On the other vehicle, Jamie and David are looking for lions while we watch this young male leopard trying to find his way in the world after some traumatic times, and he's doing a very good job. For those of you who don't know, may have noticed there's a collar on him. He had to go into rehab because we thought he had rabies, and for 8 months he was away from this reserve. They reintroduced him. It had never been done in this area before, and he's surviving perfectly. The last time we watched him, he was on a kill, and now he seems to be hungry again. He's definitely spotted something there. You can see his ears are flattened down. We're going to try and follow him. We're going to keep our distance. Good morning, hello, and that's because we don't want to disturb any hunt that he might be having. Chandra, can you still see him? Hold on everyone, just watch your heads. There is a lot of bush in here. There he is, I can see him. He's stalking to the termite mound over there. So I'm going to make a little bit of noise, and just remember everybody, we are only bashing over trees that are likely to pop up behind us, and B, they're certainly not rare. And he's still stalking through there. I can't see what he can see. We're going to keep our distance. We can have a look at him now. It's just over there. And Sleepy One, you want to know if Sindile is Shadow's son. Sleepy One, he is Shadow's son, absolutely. And his story intricately interwoven with hers, and the seemingly strange hormonal imbalance, I suppose you might say, that she has, where she comes into estrus long before her cubs are independent. She did that with Sindile, and the great irony of the story is that it's quite possible that his survival was dependent on his being removed and put into rehab for that little period that he was. So we're just going to keep our distance. Like I say, you can see he's stalking. If any of you've got house cats, this is exactly what happens. Watch how they move. Hello, Aaron in New Zealand. And while we watch this leopard stalking, it's a reminder that it's National Wildlife Day. I thought it was just in Australia, but it seems to be New Zealand as well. So we'll just give it a great big Australasian National Wildlife Day, and hope that you're having a good time if you're in Australasia, and hope that you are thinking about your wildlife, basically. The sun's coming up over there. We'll just have a quick look there. Beautiful sight there. And the colours, you won't get it in like this. You won't get it any other time of the year. No green at all, just about. Right, we're going to sneak forward. See if we can get another view. So to all the wombats and kangaroos and kiwis and wallabies and koalas and platypuses, hope you have a wonderful day. Cockatoos. You still see him? Landry? Yes, there he is. He's over there. He's going into the open now, which is quite nice. He's going to make a little bit of noise as we bash through here. Please do talk to us. Some of you may be wondering how on earth I've been answering a question or taking a comment already from Aaron in New Zealand. Hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter, or questions at WildEarthTV if you happen to be on the email. And you can ask us questions, you can tell us what you think, you can give us your opinion, and it would be lovely to hear from you during the course of the next 3 hours or so. I don't know what he's stalking, but he's definitely seen something. It could be a herd of impala. Well, it's not impossible that it's his mother who's come into this area. Hello, Shamsun. You were watching yesterday. Question: we had a new leopard yesterday, well, new for me, and Cheetah, granddaughter of the famous Salaeshe. He's running now. And you want to know, Shamsun, if he came across her, because it's quite possible she's an estrus, because she was well out of her territory, and we know that female leopards do that if they're trying to seek out a mate. Would he mate with her? No, I don't think he would, you know. He's barely 2 years old. In fact, I can never remember when he was born. I think he's just 2. And so, no, it's highly unlikely, A, that she would select him, and B, that he would know what to do yet. 2.5, 3 is probably the earliest a male leopard will mate, and he's not territorial, so he's not going to call, and he will probably not seek her out, even if he smells that she is an estrus. He's not big enough yet. He's not much bigger than she is. I mean, he is bigger, but not that much bigger. So you just wait from there. Anna Marie, you said it would be incredible if we saw Sindile make a catch. It absolutely would be. Let's carry on. He's having a little jog again. He's moving now. Tax, if you want to come here, just come along Zoe's road. He's heading parallel with the road just west of the road. He's moving quite quickly now, everybody. He's slowed down. I can still see him off to the right hand side. Yeah. He's going into what can only be described as the windy, impenetrable Strychnos thicket. That's these scraggly, funny bushes here. There he goes. He is still jogging. Now, if the signal goes down, everybody, I apologize. We are on the Cheetah Plains repeater, which is miles from here. I'm fascinated to know what he's trying to get at. I can still see him. I'm just keeping our distance, everyone. I know you can't see him right now. If it was a little bit less thick, everyone, I'd be staying with him. Genre, just get ready to whip that camera onto him, because it looks like he's about to leap at something. There. Oh, he had something in his sights. I don't think the impala's seen us. It has. The impala has seen him. Listen, its alarm calling. Well, the impala thinks it might have seen something. There, it has seen him. See how it alarm called and he dropped down to the ground. I can just see the impala in the background there. This is why it's so important to keep our distance. We're sitting now about 50 meters from him, 150 feet or so. And as we sit here, we listen, of course, to the pearl-spotted owl. Unfortunately, he's not going to catch that impala now. Much too wily. They know he's there. And that wouldn't be because they heard us coming, just in case you were wondering. That said, one must be honest. It could be that the impala looked this way because obviously the engine and the fairly loud bang that one branch made as we came into this position may have made the impala look this way, and that may have alerted him to Sindile, but I don't think so. Sindile was not stalking in the most patient fashion. I'm just going to help Taxon come into the sighting. Tax, do you copy? Taxon again. Ya lauko nganjiga uya west taikuma. Marumva bzele va ingwele ya iringete kuhlota. So vabzele kumiyela katsongo. One. Just helping Tax. I can see him, and of course we wouldn't be able to see him in the summer. We wouldn't be able to see the leopard here in the summer. There would be so much greenery and bush around the place, and still the impala is alarm calling at him. Hello, Susan. Your comment is that you wonder if there's a subconscious pun in the way we refer to spotting a leopard, as in seeing it. Susan, well, it's possible. I don't know. The psychology of using the word spotting, I'm not sure. And in the background, a hyena going. Right, there we have Taxon. He's come into here, and that's great. So now his guests are enjoying Sindile, the magnificent young male leopard. Does anybody remember exactly when his birthday is? I'm thinking August 2 years ago, which I think puts him obviously just over 2 years. We're just going to give him a chance here. I mean, the chances of him actually catching anything here right now are almost zero, given that the impala has seen him, but there's only one impala. Hooray, I was correct. So he is just over 2. He was born in August 2014. Phew, that's a relief. So 2-year-old male leopard. This is round about the time, between 18 months and 2 years, when a male leopard will go independent from his mother. Maybe you can hear the white-browed scrub robin going there. And Penelope, you're absolutely right. He's doing his best rug impression right now. As that impala stares at him, he flattens himself closer to the ground, thinking that maybe the ground will swallow up the sight of him. Which it almost does, doesn't it? The impala is kind of saying to him, are you being serious? I've seen you, I've told you I've seen you. What are you still doing there? Go away. Now, as far as I'm aware, I mean, I was away, but I think we've seen him on an adult impala. So his killing ability is obviously strong. It has been strong for his whole life, you know. The one time before he went into rehab, he was left by his mother for almost, how long? She left him for 2 weeks at one stage. And for a young leopard at that stage, you know, well under a year old, he managed to kill for himself. I don't know what he ate. I think he ate a few mongoose, possibly some squirrels. I think the Franklin population, the southern ends of Djuma, took a horrible pasting. But he survived. He was always fat. He always looked healthy on his own. We never saw his mum with him, or hardly ever. And that was because she was coming into estrus again. She was looking for a male to mate with. And I'm convinced, well, I'm relatively convinced, that had she fallen pregnant, and he hadn't taken that rabid dog and therefore been put into quarantine, I'm convinced that he would have been neglected, and I don't believe he would have survived. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Zara, her Shadow's current cub, who's now 6 months old. In 2 months' time, she might be able to go independent. So if Shadow doesn't fall pregnant within that time, maybe she'll survive. But I think that it doesn't look good. Hello, Ellen in Arkansas. You say, do I think that Tingana is Sindile's father? That certainly would be the indication, Ellen. And I'm not sure. You say, what would happen if they met up? I think they have met up. If I'm not mistaken, they met up down south on Hoffman's. It may have even been on a kill. And I don't think there was too much aggressive interaction. Whether Tingana would recognize him or not, I couldn't tell you. But I think Tingana is the father. It's possible that Mvula is, because we do know that Karula was mating with Mvula, not Karula. Shadow did mate with Mvula at some stage. And the dangerous thing here, it was not dangerous at all. It's quite fun to guess about who his dad might be, but really the only way to tell would be to do a DNA analysis. I know that there's been some talk that his eyes look like Mvula's eyes. I happen to agree with that, but I think I wouldn't put any money on sort of ascertaining paternity from the look of a leopard's eyes. He's getting tired now. Sandy, you're in British Columbia and you want to know what Sindile ate while he was in rehab. Sandy, I don't know for sure, but I suspect quite strongly it was donkey. There are lots and lots of stray donkeys around, and I suspect that some of them are collected every so often to help feed an animal like this. It may have been offal from abattoirs, that sort of thing, but it's not cheap to feed a young leopard like this, and I suspect it probably, do we really want to get into this? But I think it's largely would have been maybe agricultural animals that had passed their prime or been rejected as human food because they were too old or whatever it was. Donkeys, even the old horse, I suppose, that got old or broken its leg or had to be put down. That's the kind of thing that would have been fed to Sindile. Obviously, whatever it was, it agreed with him very well because he is clearly in good health. Now, I'm going to move slightly forward because he has sort of seems to have gone flatter than when we began. Into this little gap here. Hello, Marianne. You're wondering about the whiteness on the back of the tail, and does it affect their hunting? Does it make it difficult for them? Marianne, they can choose whether to have that up or down. It's like a flag. And if they want it up, then yes, it becomes pretty obvious to anything they're trying to stalk. And if they want to put it down, then, they just fold it over. And you say you find it very obvious. It is tremendously obvious. It's how they follow their mothers. It's how also, remember, they signal to the birds when the birds start alarm calling at them. It's almost a sort of signal of not quite surrender, but hands up, I'm not coming to get you. Not have been live while you're away there. We think we weren't, but there we are. Nothing's happened. The leopard is in the same place. We can see the impala now that is shining in the morning sun. Alex has just beat the Gari repeater into submission. I suspect you through the medium of the car that he was driving, and now it's working. Now that impala is still deeply suspicious, but every time it turns around, it turns its back to Sindile, his head flicks and his ears go forward. So that impala knows he's here, but I'm not convinced he's absolutely sure about where. Lots of bush through there, so difficult for him to see. But of course an impala, if we can see the leopard through here, an impala at a similar distance the other side shouldn't have any trouble at all. Now Sindile spotted this thing, I think, at about 300 meters through this bush. So their eyes are really impressive. There you can see the light now catching him. Hello, fella. He's still quite slight. He's tall, he won't get much taller, but he's going to fill out a lot. And I think Gerry Camacho, who put the collar on him, came up to check it the other day and indicated that there's still quite a lot of space for him to grow into that collar before they'll take it off. It's really very special to be in the presence of this fellow and share his life with him. And as I keep saying to people, the great joy of what we do is that you're able to follow the stories of these animals, and I think that's what keeps so many of you coming back. The triumph and success of Karula, the tragedy and conjecture around Shadow, the potential tragedy, and then amazing sort of happy ending, if you like, so far, of Sindile's story. The silver spoon in the mouths of the Nkuhuma cubs, the difficulties that the Styx cubs are experiencing right now. It's all just a wonderful kind of melange of great stories, all unfolding in front of us, none of which are predictable. We don't know what's going to happen next. Right, we're going to stay here with Sindile for the next little while, see what he does. We'll try and get into a slightly better position so we can catch the golden sun glistening on his face. While we do that, let's head across to Jamie Patterson and find out how her lion tracking is going.
Good morning and welcome to our portion of the Sunrise Safari, and we do apologize profusely for the attack of the gremlins that seem to have struck this morning, but we appear to be up and running and on the search for lions. And what a fantastic way to have started off your morning safari than with the much loved Sindile, that young male leopard with James. My name is Jamie, and this morning I have Dazzling Dave on camera with me, and we're going to see if we can't track down these lions. So we're being helped by Herbert. I did a silly thing this morning because Herbert, of course, found Sindile before the Sunrise Safari had even started. So I said to Herbert that we would have a race to see which of us could find the lions first. And I mean, really, that's just setting myself up for failure, isn't it? Because as you know, Herbert is a master at tracking things, and he may well have, there's a very good chance he's going to beat me to it. But I haven't given up yet. He's busy tracking down what looks like a mating pair of lions, wandering about a little bit further to the south of us. Dave and myself, on the other hand, are searching for the Nkuhuma pride with their lovely little cubs, since they haven't seemed to have popped out from where they were yesterday afternoon. We didn't have a chance to see them on the sunset safari because they were in such a tricky position that we couldn't get a vehicle in there, but we knew where they were, and now it's just a question of figuring out where they've gone from there. An exciting start to another beautiful summer morning, springish morning here in the African bush. Okay, let's just check the northern boundary. I did hear a zebra very briefly going yip 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 in this general direction. I don't think it was a proper alarm call. It might have just been them upset with each other. Zebra often fight each other, but occasionally you do get those sound effects when lions are hunting them. Oh, that's what we're searching for on this morning's sunrise safari. And as far as I can tell, the lions have flown. Let me just check this junction. And James Richard, good morning to you. You've said a happy National Wildlife Day to everyone around the world, and I second that sentiment. Excuse me. So excited that I got the coughs. So James, absolutely, and to all of you, a happy National Wildlife Day. It is actually quite specifically Australian Wildlife Day, but we're going to celebrate it by celebrating all of our incredible animals, and particularly our endangered species around the world. Now, the exciting thing of this, of course, is that we planned a quiz this afternoon for the Sunset Safari. However, we are going to shift that quiz forward to this morning because we actually have an interview this afternoon on the Sunset Safari. Tristan will be coming through. I'm going to get back to our quiz in a moment. But Tristan, from one of the neighbouring reserves, a good friend of ours, is coming through to do his interview. I hope you all extend a very, very warm welcome to him. And what that means is that since we don't really want to throw poor Tristan straight into the deep end by asking him those deep and meaningful questions about our various endangered species, we're going to do it this morning. And James and myself are going to be quizzing each other. I think it's going to be 3 questions each was the plan. The plan might have changed because, as you know, we never really go according to plan out here. So the plan might have changed, but I think we're going to do 3 questions each on Africa's endangered species. I've got 2 questions in my head. I haven't thought of the third yet. I'm open to suggestions and comments that you have to make. And also, since we are celebrating endangered species from around the world, I would love to hear from you in whatever particular spot you are watching from. What is your favorite endangered species from the area that you live in? And as we know, there are, unfortunately, just the way things go, there are endangered species absolutely everywhere. The world is dedicated to, or some of us in the world are dedicated to preserving them. So, we'll have to think of, I'm going to ask my first question to James in a few moments, but I know that he is with Sindile, and that has a, sitting with a leopard or a lion or whatever it happens to be, has a way of distracting one from the exciting questions that we have to ask. But I think we'll all be able to help, and then, of course, because James's knowledge is so terribly, terribly vast, I might have to call upon you all. You, of course, have the access to the World Wide Web at your fingertips, depending on how mean James is this morning. Not that James, of course, has a mean bone in his body, but depending on how mean James might be, I might get some frightful question that I have absolutely no idea what the answer is, at which point I will be calling upon you to help me. I know that Herbert is trying to get me on the game drive comms. Shame I've been ignoring him. I didn't know that he was calling me. I'm not deliberately ignoring him. I'm just trying to get several things said at the same time. And something's just crossed in front of us. I want to go investigate. Oh, Herbert, sorry, standing by.
Hi, Jamie. I'm on Central today, east of the Nkova. I've got this my daughter is heading east, parallel to Central towards Rangasburg.
Oh, well done, Herbert. I'm on my way. I'm on Gary Cut Line again. I'll meet you there. Thank you. Champo Herbert.
He might be following the mailing pair. He's tracking them.
Copy, copy. Just look carefully here. Something disappeared into here. It might have been an antelope. I was distracted. So, Herbert has beaten me in the race to find the lions, as we sort of expected. He has found a male lion wandering towards our eastern boundary, so we're going to have to put foot a little bit to try and catch up. I just want to see what crossed in front of me here. I think it was an exciting antelope, not an exciting big... Aha! I see you! It sees me too. It's gone. It was a Dacre. It has disappeared off. That's okay. Alright, Dave, should we go film a lion? Let's go film a lion. No, it's a legend. Leopards, lions, and all before 7 o'clock in the morning. Right, so, first question for Mr. Henry on this wonderful, glorious National Wildlife Day. What shall we choose? What shall we pick? I think we'll go with that.
I managed to follow them, the very pair as well. He's in the same area with them, but you can't see them.
Well done, Herbert. Okay. We're all going to give you... Oh, goodness.
First call of the Nyari.
Whereabouts? Hey, we're racing now. He says he's got distress calls of buffalo. Things have changed.
Drunken Lakeside. The first call of the Nyari.
Copy, I'm coming. Hold on, Dave. Hold on to your hats, everybody. We'll have to ask James's question another time. We've got things to follow up on. While we put foot to try and get to the distress calling buffalo and presumably the lions that are making it distressed, let's go back to the lovely Mr. Henry and see what how his leopard is doing. In that case, we're not going anywhere to James because unfortunately TriCaster has frozen.
I'm on Gary Pen Road.
Hold on. Whee!
Yeah, if you come on Dragon's you'll be able to...
Okie dokie. Kirsty has beaten TriCaster into submission. Let's go across to James.
I just drove past some Dagger Point, near the junction of Central.
Nope, we are still here. Kirsty beats TriCaster harder. Hit it, Kirsty. That's my understanding of how you make technology work.
Opposite side of the junction.
Just confirm southern side of Central.
Well, you never know. We might get there by the time TriCaster decides to work. Is it going to work? Is it not? Are we going to send you across to James Henry, or are we not?
Alright everybody, I think we're live this time. This is the 25th attempt, and here we are. The leopard has crawled onto a termite mound where he is now in the process of going to sleep in the golden light of the morning. Very exciting stuff going up on the other vehicle. Herbert on fire today. One male leopard, one male lion, one mating pair of lions, and now distress calls of buffalo. So that is fantastic. There is nothing distressed about Sindile here. He is very pleasantly snoozing, which of course brings me to my first question for Jamie Patterson. Now, of course, when you are asking a question of somebody of her intimidating intellectual prowess, one has to think carefully. I'm going to ask her the following question. Why it is... And I'm going to only ask her this because I think I know the answer. I'm not going to try and ask her something that I might then have to research myself. Why is it that everything in Australia hops? That's my first query. Why does everything in Australia hop? Boing, boing, boing. Let's look at the leopard now, Andre. So that was quite an interesting question, to which I think there's quite an interesting answer. And the other, I'll probably give the next one while we wait for Sindile to sleep. I also don't have, I've only got 2 questions, I don't have 3 yet, so maybe like Jamie asked you to help her come up with one, maybe you could ask me, or help me. The other one is, there are 3 types of mammals. We are placental mammals, and the Australians are blessed with all 3 types. What are the other 3 types of mammal? Or the other 2 types? So we get the placental mammals, which is us, and there are another 2 kinds that occur in Australasia, and as far as I know, South America has 2 kinds, but only Australia has all 3, if I'm not mistaken. So what are the other 2 kinds of mammal, both of which are found in Australia? The one is easy, the second not so much. And again, the call of the pearl-spotted owl in the background, just completing what is a marvellous scene here. Otherwise, it's a very gentle dawn chorus, and this behaviour of lying on a termite mound, doing not very much at all, is very much a habit of his mother's. She likes a good termite mound to lie on, and indeed for much of his early history, Sindile could be found lurking on a termite mound. I still remember his favourite termite mound, Andre, just south of our boundary. They do grow up so fast, you know. Jamie is heading towards where that distress call was. Hello, Claude's Gate. What an interesting question from you. You say, what is the memory span of an impala? Claude's Gate, I don't know. You're basically asking how long will it take for that impala to forget that there was a leopard here. I couldn't begin to tell you. I think he'll be pretty wary, and I think you'll find he'll move off now. I don't think he's going to hang around. What they don't do, when they start alarm calling, often what they do is walk towards the predator that they are alarm calling at, so that A, the predator knows that they're there, or that they've been seen, and B, so that they can make out exactly where the predator is. And then normally once they've ascertained where it is, they'll probably move off or just stand there and alarm call until the predator goes off. And they're wily. I think they're patient, and I don't think they forget. So I don't know, maybe an hour or two, it'll start to relax and think about perhaps eating rather than worrying about the leopard. That's a very nice question, thank you. Right, let's move around to where Tax was, just to get a slightly different angle of this sleeping leopard. Is that alright with you, Jean-Ray? Oh, good. I'd hate to offend you, you know. No, that was a lie. It was an absolute lie. Bald-faced untruth. Right, here we go. We're going to ease into position here, so we can look into the eyes of our favourite son, or certainly my favourite son. Good morning, Sindile. Is that alright for you, Jean-Ray? It's that spotty thing on top of the termite mound there.
Which one?
Just to the right of that. Arathusa, you want to know if I have a favourite leopard. Well, I do. At the moment, my very favourite leopard is Hosanna. He is my favourite leopard at the moment, for I did so very enjoy meeting him when I first met him. Sindile is a close second, and look, we'll see what happens with Hosanna. Sindile may pip Hosanna at the post, but they are my two favourites. Mvula was my original favourite. I know that sounds like I'm not being particularly loyal, but Mvula has been conspicuous by his absence, and so I'm going to go with this rather magnificent fellow as my alternative. But Hosanna, I'm afraid I've become very fond of over the last little while. You can just hear Taxon retreating. I think he's going to go off towards the lions, where Djuma Patterson is trying to get now. And that, of course, is the great joy and advantage of having two vehicles out, is that you don't need to transfer between sightings. You can just stay with one. And then when the other one is available and ready for you, well, then you can go there. He looks very tired, Jean-Ray. I think he had a big night. Jean-Ray, you know a predator can pick up on weakness. Michael, lovely question, and of course so many people ask about the intelligence of animals, and you want to know if leopards have got the ability to problem solve. Well, yes, they do to a certain extent, Michael. I'm just going to move very slowly to face you, because he is watching us, and we don't want to startle him at all. Michael, you'll hear some people say that they have the intelligence of dolphins, and I don't know whether that's true or not. I did speak to a big cat trainer once, who came from America, and he used to train cats for TV shows. And he reckoned that a lion was about the most gormless creature he'd ever come across. I mean, this is obviously in captivity. He felt a leopard, although massively intelligent compared with the other big cats, was completely untamable, that they remained wild forever. And I thought that was quite interesting. So, Michael, I would say yes, they can problem solve. Can they problem solve to the same extent as a hyena can? They do say not, and that's because a hyena lives in that complex matriarchal society, which they say does breed what we as human beings might describe as intelligence, that ability to problem solve and sort of consider abstract logic. But of all the big cats, Michael, these guys seem to be the most intelligent. Alright, let's head across to Jamie Patterson, who has managed to find out, well, no, I don't know if she's managed to find the answers to my daunting questions, but she does have the Al Capone of the bush.
We do indeed have the Al Capone of the bush, and there's some interesting stuff happening. So we've been racing here in this direction because we heard, or Herbert reported hearing, some buffalo distress calls. Obviously we've got this huge male lion walking past us through the dense vegetation. I'm not racing off road just yet because I want to just try and work out where he's going. He's on a very definite mission. And we know this because he walked straight past a mating pair of lions that we've just driven past. We're going to go back to them at some point. We just want to double check and see what's happening that's attracted this male's attention and made the fact, or made it so interesting that he ignored one of his coalition members and a female and is carrying on in the direction that he is. So this is exactly where Herbert heard the distress calls emanating from. I've stopped and listened several times and I haven't heard anything, so it's possible that there was a failed hunt. Which way are you going, boy? Where did you go, boy? You got him. Oh yes, duh. There he is, that big tawny thing with a mane. Just hold on, he's contact calling. Oh, I heard contact calls. It's completely quiet otherwise. No sound of those distress calls that we heard, or that Herbert said he heard earlier. Now, as most of you know, during a buffalo hunt it is quite a noisy experience. And the poor hapless creature that's been caught by lions does not give up the fight very easily.
The animals are now heading west towards the Makulu section. Confirm that you are running.
See, he's sniffing along. He's on a mission, he's looking for something. And perhaps he heard the distress calls as well. Let's just wait for him to pop out. He is going to come out nice and into the open. For those of you who are long-time viewers of Safari Live, you'll recognize the spot that we are about to pop out into, which is the massive open area where Brent had a live buffalo kill over a year ago now. Sorry, just bear with me one moment. Affirmative, he's about to pop out on Drakensberg, close to that open area by Mamba. Copy, I'll keep you updated. Okay, he's settled for now. Let's just go forward ever so slightly so we can... Oh no, hold on. There's something so focused about the way that he's moving. Stopping to look and to listen. Oh no, don't go this way, boy. Gonna make our lives very difficult. He's absolutely spectacular. in the morning sunlight. Let's just go. We might have to follow him off-road. He might know something that we don't. I was hoping he was going to head somewhere here. Everybody keep your eyes peeled, because there could be other lions in the vicinity. And I want to just give us a little bit of space and maneuver room in case something dramatic happens. You never know, lions racing out of the bush, chasing buffalo. He doesn't seem to be as hurried as I thought he was initially. But he's definitely stopping to look and listen, which is a good lesson for us to learn, because it will help us to figure out exactly what is going on. There were lots of buffalo that we drove past on our way here, so they are around. Oh, big boy. The standard male lion limp that pretty much all dominant lions at some point in an area will have. It's not an easy job being a dominant male lion of an area, and it comes with its nicks and scratches and injuries and whatever else they happen to encounter. Oh, stopping to have a good sniff of the quarry bush. He's probably going to scent mark on top of it. Yep. Gentle urine spraying. There we go. This is what we want. He's coming straight towards the nice open area. Thank you, mister. So, James's impossible question. Well, we'll have to get back to that in a moment, because the truth is I don't know the answer. My only conclusion is that animals in Australia hop because the ground is hot. But that's a little bit of a facetious answer, isn't it? Oh. Which way are we going, mister? There's nothing quite as awe-inspiring as a big male lion walking in the morning sunlight. Ooh. We will not be able to follow him into this bush. It is unbelievably thick. We've got to hope that he decides to keep coming more into the open area, or else we'll just go around and find him on the other side.
Over to Mike. 35? Yeah, over it. I'm not actually sure where to respond to that. There's so many locks now. I'm just traveling on East Valley, going west.
There was a brief moment as he walked past that he spotted a very thin-looking dugger boy, or male buffalo, and he gave it a sort of a cursory glance as if to think about perhaps stalking it. In Safari Haze, you were wondering if one of the Birmingham boys could take down a buffalo by themselves. A young one, definitely. Obviously, well, I mean, I suppose that goes without saying. So a young buffalo they absolutely could take down on their own. A female, probably as well, although they'd have the rest of the herd to tangle with. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's try going around here. It's getting... Excuse me. It's getting very, very thick here. Oh, there he goes. He's going to pop out on the road once again. A big buffalo bull, maybe, but probably not. And there's just too significant a weight difference there, and that would risk serious injury. But 2 male lions would absolutely be more than equal to a buffalo bull. But one, it would be a bit of a risky tackle. Here he comes. We're still with him. He's just far away for now. And he's cutting the corner. We're going around. Now this middle Rangala is about to pop out on Drakensberg-Mamba Junction. In theory. There he goes. Oh, we're getting closer and closer to our eastern boundary. I'm hoping he doesn't decide to disappear across it. Okay. Let's give him one more loop. What have you seen and heard, mister? I'm driving very carefully just in case there's some more lions hiding somewhere, perhaps lying across the road in the sun. That's me being hopeful now. Let's go right. We'll catch him on front on. Pick a path.
Jogging for Benny?
Go ahead, Bernie. Here we go.
Yeah, do you mind if I come and join you there, Drakensberg Drive?
Look at that. What a magnificent view. Are you welcome to, Bernie? Walking right up close to us. Hello, boy. It's been a while since I've had a stunning view of a male lion like this. Beautiful.
Yeah, 3 stations or 2 stations?
Bernie, Tex is on his way. I'm not sure about Mike. There's 2 sightings going on. One is mating pair, one is this one, my daughter. He's now on the link road between Mumba and Leadwood. You're welcome to come and join us. If Mike does want to put in, I'll make space.
Wow, okay. No wonder I've been confused about what's going on where. Thanks, Jeremy. Your side of the sea, if I have to pull out the problem.
No problem. Make your way. I know that the mating pair is moving into some thick vegetation. Sorry, everybody. Also, just communicating the fact that there are 2 different sightings here. But we've got prime position.
Mike, you copy?
Watching a male lion cruise along down the road.
I'm right behind Tex.
Which one, the meeting pair?
Stopping to have a good
Mumba
sniff.
Junction with Drakensberg.
Oh, how lovely. Having a quick roll.
Oh, okay, then I'm gonna share these ones then. I thought you were responding to these ones.
Yeah, look, but I'm not sure. I just followed Tex. There's so many blocks here.
Look at him having a jolly good run. Look at him rolling in the buffalo dung. I'm sorry, I'm having a good chuckle at the confusion on the radio. Bernie, make your way in here. It's fine. I'm happy to go back to where Herbert was. Oh, nothing better than a fresh buffalo patty to start off one's morning. Having a jolly good roll here.
Yeah, Herbert, it sounds like, are you on your own at the lockdown there? I heard where you were.
Awesome.
Hi. With these animals there, then no one is responding, then I'm leaving them.
Let's go a bit closer. This is wonderful. Oh, yay, this looks fantastic. Like all of our predator species, lions love smelly things. And we see wild dogs do this, we see hyenas do it, and lions do as well. There's nothing better than finding a nice smelly patch of something and rolling in it. Those of you with pet dogs at home will be familiar with that entire process. Okay. And Caitlin, he wanted to know why he was eating that. He's not. He's rolling in it. He might have a little bit of a lick every now and again of whatever it was he's rolling in, but he's not eating it. He is just covering himself in the smell. Nobody knows exactly why they do it. It might be to strengthen their own smell, make them more intimidating, help to spread and mark their territory. Oh, there we go again. There we go again. Is he gonna... I thought he was gonna flop in. I'm gonna just go forward so we can make some space for Tax. He's going to join us at this particular sighting. I mentioned that he has completely... I'm just going to pull over to the side so Tax can come past me. I mentioned that he walked past one of his coalition members and continued on his southwards mission. Let's just shift across. We're all going to have to make space for each other here. Padding along gently. Morning, Dax. How's it, guys? And Black Rose Demon, you wanted to know how often do male lions walk alone? A lot. Very, very often. Especially when they aren't dominant in an area, as the Birmingham boys are. Because they have to spread their time and their attentions. Oh! Morning, Mike! Hello, everybody!
Too early for me.
It's all good, go ahead. He's going to have another role in whatever it is he's found. But yes, male lions walk alone because they've got enormous territories to patrol and monitor, and they have to split their attention. It's a difficult balance because being on their own makes them more vulnerable. But other male lions in the area will know exactly the fact that there are, in this case, 4 big males defending an area, and that if they mess with one, the other 3 will come racing through. Okay. I'm going to have to chat a little bit on the game drive comms. I'm just going to wait for James to finish his update so that he can be ready to receive your attentions. Oh, I've forgotten about James's quiz and the hopping Australian creatures. I'm going to give some thought to why, 'cause nobody said I had to answer immediately. I'm going to give some thought as to why exactly it is that Australian animals hop, and while I do that thinking and hop on the Game Drive channel myself, let's go back across to James and Sindile.
There's enormous excitement going on over there. Over here, well, it's a different kind of excitement. It's the excitement one feels at spending time with an old friend. Well, not an old friend, but a friend. Sindile has, well, he's lifted his head once or twice, opened his glorious eyes, and we've noticed 2 interesting things. Firstly, there's a very nasty scar underneath his left eye, so the eye to the right of what you're looking at. And I wonder where that comes from. I don't remember seeing it before, but perhaps it was there. The other thing is that he has his tongue permanently sticking out, which is quite distinctive. He's got a very pink nose for a leopard of his age, and I think he probably will maintain that pink nose until, well, for the rest of his days. Which I think is quite nice. So there are a number of very distinctive things about him. Now, Gendre was just pointing out precisely the same thing as Felicity has just noticed, that he seems to have very long eye whiskers, and I would agree. And you say, do they have any real function? I don't know for sure. It's supposed to help them move in the dark and perhaps help them pick up the odd pheromone here and there, but I don't know why they should be that length. I really don't. I wonder if perhaps they aren't slightly that length because they were, they spent quite a lot of time in an environment where they didn't get shorter because he wasn't walking through bushes the whole time. I'm not sure. But I agree with you, they are very young, at least very long. There's a very pleasant breeze, everybody. Let me just give you an idea of the conditions here. Apparently it's 14 degrees or so earlier. I didn't think it was anything like that cold earlier. A very, very pleasant temperature out here right now. A breeze coming from the sort of southwest, which is quite unusual. It's interesting how the breezes have switched as we've gone into the springtime. Very kind of dusty smell in the air. It's very, very dry at the moment, so every footfall that an animal makes puffs up a little bit of dust. Every breeze that there is picks up a little of this sort of grassless sand here and touches the atmosphere with it. And of course, if you go past a knobthorn tree or some of the other acacias that are beginning to flower, so you get this lovely subtle scent of the spring in the air, which is just rather marvellous. Gendre, you still have a blanket on. Are you cold? He's just nodding and weaving. You see, he's trying to be the sort of pained artist at this stage. Let's look at the leopard, who is now fast asleep.
We're still on you, James.
Oh, we're still on me. Hello, Wendy. I'm assuming you're asking your question because you know the history of Sindile, the male leopard. You say, first of all, Happy National Wildlife Day. Well, if you're in Australia, Happy National Wildlife Day. And please excuse my Australian accent. I can't help myself sometimes. You say, are there any troubles that domestic stock have, or that wild animals have with domestic stock? Well, of course, Sindile, for those of you who don't know, had to go to rehab because he ate a domestic dog that he didn't eat it, he sort of caught it. Actually, he didn't even kill it, but it was found to have rabies later on. And so that is an issue. Disease is the major issue, especially for wild dogs. When they come across domestic dogs, although they can't interbreed, because they are close relatives, they do pick up on the same diseases. So they get canine distemper, they can get rabies, they can pick up other kind of parasites from domestic dogs, and that can decimate wild dog populations. In terms of the big cats and that sort of thing, it's largely rabies that's an issue. The other way round, of course, domestic stock, goats and chickens and cows, well, they're just quite easy for things like leopards and lions to catch. And so it is quite difficult for, when there is a conflict, it's quite difficult to manage. But in this country, as opposed to, for example, East Africa, there's a big fence on the western borders of the park, and so the interaction between wildlife, the human-wildlife conflict is that much more reduced. Many parts of Africa, a national park is a line on a map. It's not actually a designated area, or it's not designated with a fence, which means it kind of bleeds into traditional grazing lands and communal lands. And that means there's an inevitable conflict with local people, and certainly in Tanzania and Kenya, that is a major problem with the Maasai and their cattle. And, there is no defined fence, and so they do have conflict. I think the major issue, though, would be something like distemper and the rabies. Also, bovine tuberculosis, of course, and corridor disease can transfer from cattle into wild ungulate populations, and rinderpest as well. So domestic cattle diseases and stock diseases can transfer into wildlife. So it's largely a disease issue. Nice question. Thank you for that. Chandra, did you see how I stared into the sun there without blinking? Because I'm so deeply professional. Right, we're just going to help Aubrey get into the sighting here. Aubs, we're just west of you now. There we go. That was easy. It's so wonderful working with a veteran like that, because you give one indicator and instruction, even if it's a bad one, and he manages to find you somehow without ever talking to you. So I think, unless everybody objects strongly, I think we're going to sit and wait and see what this leopard does, simply because Jamie is with lions, and so we do have two sort of kitty cat sightings. If you are bored, everybody, you can let me know and we can move on. But because he's our special friend, I think we might just see what he does. They don't sleep in the same... if I found a lion in this state at this time of the day, I would almost assume that he was going to be here. He might move sort of 3.5 meters during the course of the next 10 hours or so. But a leopard will rest like this in the middle of the day and then move and hunt. And so although the day is going to warm up fairly soon, it's not impossible that he will start to move and go about his life as a non-territorial male leopard of the Sabi Sand. And of course, the noise of another vehicle coming into the sighting inevitably means that something might happen. If nothing else, we'll get a nice picture, Chandra. Well, if you're fast enough, which I'm not. He's going to yawn. Alright, from a young male leopard, let's go across to the young Al Capone and find out what's going on there.
I like that name. We should start calling him Al Capone on a more permanent basis. Not that our lovely Birmingham boys don't have several different collections of names, from the Hoff to Blondie to all kinds of different names depending upon who you happen to be. So James is knocking me about with quiz questions. He's now asking me about placental mammals as opposed to the marsupials in Australia. So I'm going to counteract it by asking the new expert on the Masai Mara, or the Mara Triangle, if he can, and I'll give him some leeway with this particular question. I would like to know sort of roughly how many cheetah James thinks exist within the Mara Triangle, so including the Serengeti and the Tsavo area. How many cheetah are there in that particular spot? And bonus point for Mr. Hendry, just to play along for fun, which country in the world outside of Africa has the largest cheetah population? So we're stepping outside of the Australian bounds for our quiz question this morning and adding one on that is a little bit more relevant to our particular area. I did say I was hoping for one of our endangered species, maybe wild dogs or cheetah, but I'm definitely not going to object to this incredible male lion that we have here, who's decided he's camera shy and would like us to have a look at his beautiful flowing locks down the back of his head. Let's reposition and just shift about so that we get a nicer view. Gregory in Quebec, as you can see, with all of these vehicles around him. There's 3 of us here at the moment. Gregory, the animals are not in any way disturbed by our vehicles, and that's because we do it very, very carefully. So they've all grown up with vehicles being as much a part of their lives as buffalo or trees or termite mounds. It's just part of their everyday existence. While we reposition, you can watch his reactions very carefully, and you'll see he might look at us. Maybe. He might give us a sideways glance if we're lucky, but beyond that, he is not going to do anything at all. So Gregory, that being said... Oh, wait, hold on. He's going to contact call. Let's just stop for one moment. He's thinking about giving us a roar. That was pathetic, mister. Come on. It's almost like he's warming up his vocal cords. Getting ready for the big bellowing sound. That one was so soft I don't think you even got to hear it. There was a sound. See if he's going to do it again. Come on. Nah. The morning sun is just too comforting, and he's had a long, hard evening of wandering about. He's just going to relax here, as only a male lion can. Doesn't he look magnificent in this light? So, Gregory, in Quebec, since our lions decided to go quiet, it's very important that we respect the boundaries of the animals and not take advantage of their comfort levels with our vehicles. And what that means is that we never put more than a certain number of vehicles in a sighting at any one time. The usual number is 3, but it can be less than that. So with the lion cubs, for example, we only have 2 vehicles in there at any one time. The same goes for leopard cubs. And at den sites, it's also only 2 vehicles. And if a guide feels that an animal is upset or sort of off-kilter in any way, then you can make it only 1 vehicle, or you can close it completely. So stop people. One more. That's what I sounded like when my alarm went off this morning. And back to sleep. Gentle, soft contact calls. I'm lonely, guys.
Ja, it's just not that on the eastern Ghana, they've popped up on the other road north. And joined up the Djuma fuzzies here, so Djuma fuzzies and whatnot.
Copy that, thank you, Bernie. So Bernie's just giving us an update that the mating pair has joined up with 2 of the Nkuluma lionesses. We will be going there at some point, depending upon where they go. But I don't want to rush off and leave this male. He might call. And we also run the risk of not getting to the other lions anyway. So a lion in the hand is worth 4 in the bush, or something similar. Come on, boy. I wonder if he realizes that he walked straight past the mating pair.
If you get the visual of the monkey one, let me know, please.
Oh. It's obviously been a long day. There was lots of What? Oh, come on, my stomach rumbles louder than that. I love that sound. It's almost like he's warming himself up for the big roar. Oh, up again. Oof. Oh, no, just an itch.
The station is the color coloring towards
This is very interesting. I'm just listening to Herbert's updates. He can hear the lions responding, so even though it's the softest call, there are lions responding to him at a Buffelshoek Dam. I think it might be worth going and having a quick look there, depending on what our lion decides to do. So while we toss up the different decisions and decide... Hold on, I think he might give us a roar. Just wait one moment. Imagine being the guest in that vehicle. Okay. Nope. No roars from our gentleman. Well, he wanders off into the dense vegetation. We're going to send you back over to our lovely leopard because we're just spoiled for choice this morning.
The lovely leopard, everybody, has done a maneuver. He's gone from a termite mound about 200 meters away onto this termite mound. He's now thoroughly exhausted after the lengthy walk of 660 feet, and so he's going to have a little bit of a rest. Now he's using this termite mound, of course, as a vantage point, and I can see a steenbok in front of him, but he has we can't see it anymore, Jean-Louis. It's over there. It's gone into the bushes there. But of course it's difficult. Not even the leopard can see through his closed eyelids. Now, while we wait and see if Sindile wakes up, the question posed to me on this, the National Wildlife Day of Australia and New Zealand, about how many cheetah there are in the Mara Triangle. The last census they did was in 2012, and at that stage I think there were probably weren't many more than 10 actually in the whole area. I remember the Mara Triangle is only 51,000 hectares, which is about the same size as the Sabi Sands, and I think they only counted 10. I think you'll probably find there are quite a few more, that live there because it is ideal cheetah habitat. So I'm going to say something nebulous like between 10 and 20 cheetah in the Mara Triangle. The leopard's woken up now, Chandra. Hello, Chai Town. Connie, you want to know how successful leopards are on average at hunting? Chai Town, Connie. They probably have a success rate. I mean, it does depend on the individual. But for every hunt that they attempt at a small or medium-sized antelope, I think you probably find that they are successful about 4 out of 10 times. Lions probably about 3 out of 10 times. He's looking at something. Maybe he's seeing my Steenbok. Now we might have to cross quickly across to Jamie. I'm just saying that because I know that Taxon is trying to point out some honey badgers to her. So if Kirsten needs to crash cut away, I'm giving you a prepared link just in case. So Tax has spotted some honey badgers where Jamie is. Kirsten, all I got there was wow, 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 wow. I don't know what that means. Stand by. So if you suddenly find yourself not looking at Sindile, you will hopefully be looking at a honey badger. Okay, go for it. Go and have a look.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on. There's a hunt of some kind occurring. That's who he was calling to. There's a lioness over there. We'll just wait and see exactly what's going on. Where did you come from? You sneaky girl. Came out of nowhere. The Taxon called me to say that there's something... There's a honey badger, there's a honey badger! She's chasing a honey badger! Oh my goodness! Hold on tight. That is a brave choice! Where's she gone? Where did she go? Taxon's guests are killing themselves laughing. No problem. Racing honey badgers somewhere here. Okay, let's try and get... Tax is apologizing because I thought he was behind me, not in front of me. But this lioness is attempting to hunt down a honey badger. Let's just see where she's gone. Where did she go? I can't see her at all now. Where is she gone? So there's lionesses everywhere this morning. Bernie has got them. Where did she go? I wonder if the male knew that she was there. He ignored her as well. Okay, let's go back around. Dave, just keep your eyes peeled. It's very, very dense in here. And racing lionesses are tricky to follow. Lioness is hunting honey badgers. Seen it before. It's quite intriguing to witness because honey badgers, as you know, have a ferocious temperament. We just stopped to chat to Tax, see if he knows exactly where she went. Is she there? Tex, I think, has managed to spot her from where he was. It's very, very dense. We have to try and figure out our way through here. Back again we go. Let's just keep our eyes peeled.
Jamie, I've checked the them just right here. I'm gonna share. Jamie, you can see her just right on my right hand side on the ticket there.
Copy, thanks, Tex.
Right 100 meters are right past the street.
You got her. Oh, there she is, yeah. There's the lioness.
Jamie,
Foiled.
where exactly is that Mafasi came out of from?
I have no idea, Herbert. She's close to Leadwood, Drakensberg Junction. Herbert wants to know where she came out from.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of that distress call.
I have absolutely no idea. Amazing. Liz has raised a very good point. Out of all of the food choices, why a honey badger? And the answer is, Liz, just that hunting instinct. Something goes racing past them and lions can't help but chase it, which is why we always say never run in the bush. Here she comes. Who have we got here? Is it Amber Eyes? No, it is not. It's the young lioness. Hey, gorgeous girl. Here's another one calling. The male lion's now roaring. And how beautiful. How did that honey badger hunt go? The honey badgers with their... It is Amber Eyes, by the way. Is it not? I can't see it. Yeah, it is Amber Eyes. Hello, gorgeous. Of course it's you. Don't worry. It's okay, girl. It's okay. Movement's nice and slow. She's just walking behind us. So, of all of the animals that lionesses tackle, honey badgers are one of the most dangerous. They've got very, very loose skin and are capable of turning basically around in their skin itself, twisting around and biting back with their sharp claws. And she's now searching for that male lion. Let me just move out of Tex's way. There she is there. After a failed honey badger hunt, I've seen lionesses be severely injured by honey badgers before. I've also seen them take forever to kill one. I have seen them kill honey badgers before, but it's not a pretty sight. And the honey badgers really do not give up without a fight. And they pack a serious punch. Ah, how very considerate of you, settling down. Thank you, Tex.
Yep.
Thank you. Of course it was Amber Eyes chasing a honey badger. It had to be. There's something about this lioness's personality that is truly exceptional. She always seems to be in the thick of the action. An interesting answer from James in terms of our cheetah quiz. He has put it that the last census was in 2012 and that the number is between 10 and 20. Now, the numbers that I read were a little bit higher than that, but it might be that he's giving an answer to a more limited area than perhaps the one that I'm thinking of. I will tell you that I did not know the answer to that question off the top of my head, and that it was something that I looked up. So I'm thinking a slightly higher number, but I'm including the Serengeti, the Masai Mara, and the Tsavo region. So slightly more than that. And of course, James mustn't forget about the bonus question of the country outside of Africa. I, of course, will give an answer to his questions once I've had a chance for everything to settle down. I think it feels as though there's lionesses spread absolutely everywhere at the moment. Amber Eyes here, the male lion further to the south. Herbert thinks that this lioness was responsible for the buffalo distress calls that we heard. I think our lionesses are just bouncing about everywhere. What an incredible morning. Yesterday we had leopards being chased up trees by hyenas. This morning we had honey badgers being chased by lionesses. Unfortunately, they were just that little bit too quick for us to actually catch them. And she's settled now. She's listening to the male roaring. I wonder if he even realized that she was there. I think he walked straight past her. Well, we certainly went straight past her. But we have no clue where she popped out from. So Herbert could well be right. She might have been the lioness responsible for chasing things around this morning. I mentioned that she's a particularly special lioness. I mean, I just say that because she is so readily identifiable, and she's also got that she always seems to be somewhere in the thick of the action, as I said. And Natasha, you're right. I'm certain that Amber Eyes' cubs, when she does have them, sorry, just listening to the Game Drive channel, getting an update on where the other lions are. And Natasha's right. They will inherit her eye colour, or chances are they will inherit, some of them will inherit her eye colour, and definitely her spunk and her character. And she has been mating with Birmingham boys on a regular basis. She's only just finished mating with one of them since I came back to work a couple of days ago. And since then, there's a good chance, well, there's a chance that she's pregnant. We've seen Amber Eyes mating a lot recently. Some of them may have been false oestresses, and also a way of just placating the males, keeping them distracted from the little cubs that are gambling about. But at some point she will, I don't think there's any problems with her fertility or anything like that. At some point she will have little cubs. What are you planning on next? You're going to cause more drama. I'm going to reposition, see if we can get a nice view of her face and see what she's planning on being up to, if perhaps she's going to go and rejoin the rest of the pride. Let's jump back on board with James and see whether or not he'd like to reevaluate the number of cheetah that he mentioned.
It's very difficult, everybody, to answer a question when it is asked via the broken telephone that is the final control. I was asked how many cheetah there were in the Mara Triangle, which of course is 51,000 hectares, the same size as the Sabi Sands. I'm told now that the answer given by Jamie included the entire Mara Serengeti ecosystem, just 2 million hectares, and Tsavo, a disconnected national park off to the far east of the Mara Serengeti ecosystem. So, it's very difficult to answer a question when asked in that fashion, so I shall have to have a word with all those concerned with a confusing question. Sindile has hardly moved at all, everybody. In fact, he's just tucked his chin into a little nook in that termite mound. Now, can you imagine, if Jean-Andre zooms all the way out there, how impossible it would be to see an animal like this if you didn't know he was right there. It would be almost entirely impossible, which I think is quite interesting. I think we're going to sit here for another 10 minutes, everybody, and then I think it's probably going to be time for us to move on and see what else we can see if we can't find an elephant or two, because I don't think he's going to do much for the next little while.